So, okay everyone, in the last class we have discussed this example. So, this example is you have to prove that f of z is not differentiable at z0, so that not analytic at z0. Okay, so everybody listen. So, this is a order for finding any property of a given function. So, for example, so if you take, so first concept is limit, right? So, everybody familiar with this limit, and then we are going to find continuity, and what is the next concept we discussed is differentiability. Okay, so this is a differentiability, and what are the things next we discussed is analytic function. So this is the order for any function. So if function having a limit or not, a function is continuous or not, a function is differentiable or not. So the next property is analytic function, and the final is the entire function. Okay, so this is the order of properties of a given function. So the function is given. So in generally what we did is we are going to find the limit, or in generally we are going to find whether the given function is continuous or not at a point. Similarly, we can find the given function is differentiable or not at a given point, and similarly we can find the given function is analytic or not, or the given function is entire function or not. So this is the order of the properties. So limit, then continuity, then differentiability, then analyticity, then entire function. So this is the order of the properties of a given function. Okay, so now here my question is, if limit exists, then it will continuous or not? If it is continuous, then it is differentiable or not? If it is differentiable, then analytic or not? So if it is analytical, it is entire function or not? So which is correct? Okay, so here, so all these are necessary conditions. For continuity, limit is necessary. So for differentiability, continuity is necessary. For analyticity, differentiability is necessary. For entire function, analytic is necessary. But it is necessary conditions, but it is not sufficient. So that means if the function of a given function limit exists, then may or may not be continuous. If f of z is continuous, then we cannot say that or may or may not be differentiable. If the given function is differentiable, we cannot say whether it is analytic or not. If the given function is analytic, then we can say that, we may not say that whether it is entire or not entire. Okay, so for all these properties, so limit function is necessary condition for continuity. It is not sufficient. Why? Because if limit exists means we cannot say whether it is continuous or not. But so this way it is very much true. So that means if the given function is entire function, then we can say that analytic. If it is analytic means it is differentiable. If it is differentiable means continuous. If it is continuous means limit exists. So this way it is true. Okay, so but this way may or may not be true. What it means is, if limit of a function is exists, we cannot say that whether it is continuous or not. If the given function is continuous, we cannot say that it is differentiable or not. If it is differentiable, we cannot say that it is analytic or not. If it is analytic, we cannot say that it is entire function or not. So this way we have to find all the properties of a given function. And one more is very much sure, if it is not continuous, okay, so that means limit does not exist means it is not continuous. Okay, so if the given function is not continuous, it cannot be differentiable. If the given function is not differentiable, it cannot be analytic. So that is the reason why here I have written the given function is not differentiable, so therefore we can say that it is not analytic. Okay, if it is not analytic, it cannot be entire. Okay, remember, so if the limit does not exist means it cannot be continuous. If it is not continuous, it cannot be differentiable. If it is not differentiable, it cannot be analytic. Similarly, if it is not analytic, it cannot be entire function. So that is the reason why here, so we have proved that if it is not differentiable, therefore it is not analytic. Here we are going to prove that it is not analytic, so therefore not analytic means we can prove that it is not differentiable. Since it is not differentiable, it is not analytic. Okay. Suppose if it is differentiable, we can say that, we cannot say that may or may not be differentiable. Okay. So you just remember all these properties. So these are the order of the properties of a given function. So limit, continuity, differentiable, analytic, then entire function. Okay. So just remember, already up to now we know already. So limit of a given function we know already, and continuity of a given function we know already, and differentiability also we know. So what are the new things is analytic function and the entire function. So but throughout the third unit, so we are dealing with analytic functions. Okay. So in previous, up to now, or in the previous class or in the previous standards, you know already limit of a function, continuity, differentiability. So the new thing here is the analytic function. Okay. So we are not more talking about analytic function also. So we are only concentrate on the analytic functions. Okay. So this way you have to prove that. Okay. So in this example, so we have to prove that not analytic, that means we proved that not differentiable. Since it is not differentiable, it is not analytic. If it is differentiable, may or may not be analytic. So then we are go for n more condition. Okay. So therefore, if it is not differentiable, it is not analytic. Okay. So this way you have to find the properties of a given function. So limit, continuity, differentiability, analyticity, and the entire function. Okay. So now look at, we will discuss some more exercise problems here. So up to now, what are the things we discussed is, what is a complex number and the properties of a complex numbers. Okay. And one more thing is continuity of a given function and differentiability of a given function, analyticity of a given function, and the entire function definition. Okay. So now next one we discussed is a complex conjugate. Okay. So and one more thing we discussed is whether the given function is analytic or not at a point. So for that, what we discussed is there is an important concept is called Cauchy-Riemann equations. Okay. So why we need to discuss Cauchy-Riemann equations is to estimate the given function is analytic or not. So CR equations are necessary condition, and what are the sufficient condition is all the first order partial derivatives are continuous. Okay. So one more thing you remember here. So for finding analytic function, so necessary condition is CR equations. What are the CR equations is? So ux equals to vy and uy equals to minus vx. So these are the CR equations. Okay. So if CR equations are not satisfied, then it is not analytic. If CR equations are satisfied, may or may not be analytic. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to check one more condition is that, so this is called sufficient condition. So what is the sufficient condition is all the first order partial derivatives are continuous. So that means ux, uy, vx, vy. So if all are continuous, then we can say that the given function is analytic. So if the given function is satisfies these two conditions, we can say that this is the given function is analytic. Okay. So this is a necessary condition and this is sufficient condition. Okay. Okay. So now we are going to discuss some more problems, some more exercise problems here. So therefore, first look at the first problem. So discuss whether the function f of z is 1 by z is analytic or not. So how you are going to prove that? So for finding analytic function, so the what we are going to check generally is, so CR equations. Okay. So now look at f of z equals to 1 by z. So 1 by z means this is 1 by x plus iy. So everybody already know in the previous slide what is a 1 by z is x minus iy by x square plus y square. Okay. So this is a 1 by z. Now what is the real part here? So here the real part u is x by x square plus y square and v is minus y by x square plus y square. So now this way what you have to do is, so this way you have to check first whether it satisfies CR equations or not. Okay, so generally what we did is, so when which are checking for nullity, what we are going to check generally is, first we are going to check the CR equations. So what are the CR equations is, so ux equals to vy and uy equals to minus vx. So these are the conditions. Okay, so now if it satisfies, then we can say that, and one more condition also you need to check. So why? Because since it is a polynomial, so we no need to worry about all the first order partial derivative functions continuous. Okay, so why? Because since it is a polynomial, so obviously those two are continuous. So if it satisfies, then we can say that it is analytic. If CR equations are not satisfied, then it is not analytic. And one more thing, since you just identify what is the denominator here, x square plus y square. So here at z equal to 0 it is not defined, so therefore you have to check whether z equal to 0, definitely it is not analytic, except z equal to 0 may be analytic. Okay, so please check it. So once it satisfies the CR equations, you can decide that this function is analytic except at z equal to 0. So why? Because since the denominator not defined at z equal to 0. So z equal to 0 means x equal to 0, y equal to 0. Okay, so therefore you just check. So this way you have to check for the first problem. So now second problem, test the analyticity of the function sin z and hence find its derivative. Okay, so now for that what you have to do is, first you have to find what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. So for any function if they are given, your first duty is to identify what is the real part and what is the imaginary part of a given function. Okay, so that is your first duty. From there we can check whether it satisfies the CR equations or not. Okay, so for sin z, so what is the sin z is a sine, so f of z equals to sin z. So this can be written as a sine of, so z is x plus iy. Okay, so you just make it into sin a plus b formula, sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. So sin x sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. Okay, so here you need to replace what is the cos iy and what is the sin iy. So just check the formulas, we know already. So if you don't know, you just check it, what is the sin iy, what is the cos iy. So this way if you expand it, then you can easily identify what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. So once you identify the real and imaginary part, you just check the CR equations. So if the CR equations are satisfies, then we can say that the given function is analytic. Why? Because obviously sin x cos x or cos x sin x is already, it is continuous. So only thing you have to check is, you have to check whether it satisfies the CR equations or not. So if it is satisfies the CR equations, then we can say that the given function is analytic. And one more you have to find is, find its derivative. So obviously the sin z derivative is, so d by dz of sin z is, so what is the derivative of sin z is cos z. Okay, so you just check whether it satisfies the CR equations or not. So this way you have to check for the second problem. So now look at the third problem. So prove that f of z equals to z to the power n, where n greater than 0 is analytic everywhere in the complex plane and hence find its derivative. Okay, so this is the third problem. So I have told you already, if the given function is given, so your first duty is to identify what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. So for z to the power n, how to find what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. Okay, so for that what you have to do is, so f of z equals to, so z to the power n. So in generally we cannot proceed with this general coordinates. So what we have to do is, we have to go for polar coordinates. Okay, so why? Because, so what is the polar coordinate representation for z is, so r e power I theta. So this is the replace in polar coordinate system. So whole power n. So this can be written as r power n into, So e power I theta n. Okay, so this is r power n into, so e power I theta can be written as cos theta plus I sin theta, but here e power I theta n can be written as cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Okay, so then you can decide easily what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. So once you have find the real and imaginary part, then you have to go for CR equations. So what are the CR equations in polar coordinate system is, so UR equals to 1 by R V theta and U theta equals to minus R VR. Okay, so these are the two conditions of CR equations in polar coordinate system. So not in Cartesian coordinate. Okay, so this way you have to check for the third problem. So whether it is analytic or not. So therefore what you have to do is, first you have to find what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. So once the real part and imaginary part is decided, then you have to go for CR equations. If the CR equations are satisfied, then you can say that so it is analytic. Okay, so one more thing, find its derivative. So already we know that what is the z to the power n derivative is. So what is the d by dz of z to the power n is, so n into z to the power n minus 1. So this is the derivative of d by dz, but you should not write like this, you have to prove that. So how to prove, already I explained in the previous examples, you just go it and then you have to prove it. Okay, so this way you have to find whether the given function is analytic or not. Okay, so everybody remember there are three major steps involved here. So first step is, first you have to find what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. That is your first duty. Okay, so once you find the first real and imaginary part, then you have to go for CR equations. So okay, so in some problems we are using Cartesian coordinate systems, and for this type of problems we are using polar coordinate system CR equations. Okay, so depends on the problem, you have to use whether the Cartesian coordinate CR equations or polar coordinate CR equations. So once you know, once you satisfies the CR equations, then we can say that it is analytic. Of course, you have to check one more is, all the first order partial derivatives are also continuous. So for these type of problems, no need to worry about the continuity. So I have told you already, since polynomials are continuous and z to the power n is continuous and sin z is continuous, cos z is continuous and e power z is continuous. So if the function have these type of functions, no need to worry about continuity. Why? Because so everywhere it is continuous. Okay, so and also 1 by z, of course at z not equal to 0 it is continuous. Okay, so therefore if the function having these type of functions, so no need to worry about continuity. So you can simply write, okay, so since polynomial sin z, cos z, e power z are continuous, so therefore these first order partial derivatives are continuous. So like that you can give a conclusion. Okay, so this way you have to prove for the third problem. So now look at the fourth problem. Show that the function f of z equals to square root xy if z not equal to 0 and it is 0 if z equal to 0 satisfies CR equations at z equal to 0, but f dash of 0 does not exist. What it means is, so f dash of 0 does not exist means, so it is not differentiable. Okay, so not differentiable at z equal to 0. Okay, so for this already we proved something. What is that? So we are checking a limit concept. Okay, so I will tell you first what is the question is, show that this function satisfies CR equations. So this is f of z. Okay, so not f of x. So this is f of z. Okay, so the given function f of z is satisfies CR equations. So for that, how to check is, already in the previous slide I have explained how to check whether it satisfies CR equations or not. That is, so you have to use ux uy limit concept. Okay, and for the second part, not differentiable at z equal to 0. So for this, how you are going to check is, first you start with differential or differentiation definition, then where you have to conclude is, so for you just choose one path, so y equals to mx or y square equal to x, or y equals to x, or y equals x square equals to y. Okay, so you have to choose these type of paths, and what you have to check is, for every path there should be a unique limit. Okay, so generally when the limit is exists, so if the left limit and right limit equals, then we can say that limit exists in the general way, in the real functions. But when complex functions, what you have to do is you have to choose a different paths, and for all the different paths limit should be unique. That way we are going to check in the complex functions. Okay, so if you choose any of the path, and if it is does not depend on m, the limit, then it is unique. If the limit depends on m, then it is not, limit is not exist. So limit not exist means not continuous, not continuous means not differentiable. Okay, so this way you have to check. Already this type of problem already we discussed in the previous slide. Okay, so please check, and then the same way you just find out. Now what is your first duty is to identify what is the real part and what is the imaginary part. That is the first thing. Okay, so what is the real part and what is the imaginary part? So the function itself is given is a real part. So here, so real part u of x comma y is square root xy. Okay, so what is the imaginary part is, so there is no imaginary part, so therefore v is 0. Okay, so therefore this is a real part and this is the imaginary part. Okay, so once you have real and imaginary part, you just check whether it satisfies CR equations or not. So how to check is, just look at the previous problem, and similarly f dash of 0 does not exist means this f is not differentiable at z equal to 0. So how to check is, you have to choose different paths, and if the path is depends on m means it is not differentiable. So why? Because if you take any path, the limits should be unique. Okay, so this way you have to check. Okay, so you just look at the previous problem, and then similarly you just try to solve. If you have any doubt, so you can contact me at any time. Okay, so therefore, so this way we are going to check all the problems. Okay, so these are very important problems. You just try to solve it. Then okay, so if you have any doubt, you can contact me at any time. Okay, so next one is, we are going to discuss harmonic function definition. So look at the what is the statement of harmonic function. So look at this. So let u of x comma y be a function in two variables. So then u of xy is said to be harmonic if it satisfies the Laplace equation. Okay, so everybody familiar with what is a Laplace equation? So in the partial differential equations, maybe in your first year, you are familiar with this equation. So Laplace equation. So what is the Laplace equation is? So if the function u is given, so if it is a two variables, so uxx plus uyy equals to 0. So this is called Laplace equation in partial differential equation. So what is a uxx means? The partial derivative of u with respect to x variable two times. That means it is, so del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square equals to 0. Okay, so this is called Laplace equation. So when the given function u satisfies this Laplace equation, so then we can say that the given function u is harmonic. Okay, so everybody familiar with this. So what is the Laplace equation in partial differential equation? So the same equation we are going to take here. So this way you have to check. So if the u is given, what you have to do is you have to find del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square, and if you add those two, what you have to do is you have to get 0. So if you add those two, if we get 0, so then we can say that the given function satisfies Laplace equation. So this is called Laplace equation. So uxx plus uyy equal to 0. So that means del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square equal to 0, or this we can represent in the vector notation del square u equal to 0. So if the u is satisfies this Laplace equation, then we can say that the given function is harmonic. Okay, so look at the next concept is harmonic conjugate of the function. Okay, so if u of xy is given, so what is the harmonic conjugate of the given function u of xy? So this is the definition. So if there exists two functions u comma v such that f of z equals to u plus iv is analytic, then v is said to be harmonic conjugate of u, and vice versa. Vice versa means u is said to be harmonic conjugate of v. Okay. So simply you can remember, if f of z equals to u plus iv is analytic, then here, so u is a harmonic conjugate of v and v is a harmonic conjugate of u. So the vice versa we can define. Okay. So this way you have to find a harmonic conjugate of a given function u. Okay. So if u is given, so what you have to do is you have to find v, then if you add u plus iv, so this is called analytic function. So in this case we are saying u is called harmonic conjugate of u, and similarly v is called harmonic conjugate of u. Okay, so this way you have to find harmonic conjugate. And one more note point you just remember here. So the real and imaginary parts of analytic function f of z acts like harmonic conjugate of one another. So what it means is, so the real and imaginary part of f of z analytic. So if f of z is u plus iv is analytic, then this u and v, so u is a real part and v is imaginary part. This real and imaginary parts of f of z acts like harmonic conjugate of one another. That means if u is harmonic conjugate of v, and we can say that v is a harmonic conjugate of u. Okay, so vice versa. So only thing you remember is, so you just note this point, the real and imaginary parts of analytic function f of z acts like harmonic conjugate of one another. So now next we are going to discuss how to find harmonic conjugate. Suppose if u is given, so what you have to do is you have to find v, then if you add u plus iv, so that it is going to be analytic, and this u plus iv, if it is analytic, so u is a harmonic conjugate of v and v is a harmonic conjugate of u. So therefore in the next class, so in the next slide we are going to discuss how to check harmonic the given function. Okay, so next we are going to find how to find harmonic conjugate. So in the first problem, so show that the function u is harmonic. So I have told you already, so when you say that the given function u of x comma y is harmonic, so is harmonic, so remember the definition. So if it satisfies Laplace equation. So if it satisfies Laplace equation. So what is the Laplace equation is? So uxx plus uyy equals to 0. So that means, so del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square equals to 0. So if it satisfies this condition, then we can say that the given function u is harmonic. Okay, so now we will check. So look at this. So now given that u is e power minus x into x sin y minus y cos y. So here u means u of xy, since u is a function in two variables x and y. So therefore we can write u of xy. Okay, so now what you are going to find is del u by del x. What is the meaning of del u by del x? So this is a partial differentiation of u with respect to x. We call it as del u by del x. So now what is a del u by del x is? So del by del x of u. So here remember, when you are differentiate with respect to x, so what is the condition is y is constant. So y is constant, therefore here sin y is constant. What is the remaining thing is e power minus x into x. So now you can apply uv formula here. So you apply uv formula. Okay, so u into v dash plus v into u dash minus, so when you are differentiating with respect to x, I have told you already. So y is constant, that means the function in y, that means y cos y is constant, and what is the remaining thing here is e power minus x. So e power minus x derivative is minus e power minus x. Okay, so this gives the del u by del x. So now what you have to find is, next one is del square u by del x square. So why? Because Laplace equation is del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square. Okay, so now del square u by del x square, that means again you have to take differentiation with respect to x for the first order derivative, then it will give the second order derivative. Okay, so now in the previous, like in the previous equation. So when you are differentiating with respect to x, y is constant. Similarly here also, when you are differentiating with respect to x again, so y is constant, so therefore sin y is constant, and then you have to take the derivative with respect to x here. So e power minus x derivative is minus e power minus x minus, here also you can apply uv formula. So everybody familiar with this? What is the derivative of uv? So derivative of uv is, so uv dash plus vu dash. So this is the derivative of uv. Again I am writing the formula, derivative of u by v. So what is the derivative of u by v? So vu dash minus uv dash by v square. Okay. So just remember those two formulas. Why? Because we are frequently applied these two formulas everywhere. So when you apply derivative of uv formula, so you will get this one. So u into v dash plus v into u dash minus, so when you are differentiating with respect to x, y is constant. So y cos y is constant and e power minus x derivative is minus e power minus x. Okay. So this way you have to find the second derivative. So next, so when you simplify all the equations, so we'll get this is a del square u by del x square. So sin y into minus 2 e power minus x plus x e power minus x minus y cos y into e power minus x. This is a del square u by del x square. So but what you have to do, what we have to find again is del square u by del y square also we have to find. Okay. So for this, what you are going to do is, first we are going to find first derivative of u with respect to y. So del by del y. So when you are differentiating with respect to y, what is the constant is x are the constant. When you are doing partial fractions, everybody remember, when you are doing partially with respect to x, y variable is constant, and when you are doing partially with respect to y, x variable is constant. So therefore here when you are differentiating with respect to y here, so since we are differentiating with respect to y, so x is constant, that means x e power minus x is constant, sin y derivative is cos y minus, so when you are differentiating with respect to y, x is constant, that means e power minus x is constant. Here you have to apply uv formula. Okay. So therefore uv dash plus vu dash. So when you simplify this, you will get this one. So del u by del y equals to e power minus x into x cos y plus e power minus x into y sin y minus e power minus x cos y. So this is a first derivative only. So we need to find one more derivative also. So that is called del square u by del y square. That means again you have to do one more time with respect to y, so that we will get the second order derivative. So therefore again when you are differentiating with respect to y, x is constant here. So when you are differentiating with respect to y, x is constant, that means x e power minus x is constant and cos y derivative is minus sin y plus, again e power minus x is constant, again you can apply so uv formula here. So since we are having two functions here, so therefore apply uv formula here, minus e power minus x into cos y derivative is minus sin y. Okay. So therefore this way you have to find second order derivative with respect to y. So what you have to do is, once you find del square u by del x square plus del square u by del y square, you have to add those two. So if you add those two, in the first slide we have del square u by del x square, now we have del square u by del y square. If you add those two, if you get 0, then we will get the given function u of xy is called harmonic. Okay. So this way we have to prove that whether the given function is harmonic or not. Okay. Simply remember, so when you say that a given function u of xy is harmonic is, simply remember it if it satisfies the Laplace equation. So what is the Laplace equation is? So this is called the Laplace equation. So uxx plus uyy equals to 0. Okay. So if u is given, you have to take 2 times derivative with respect to x plus 2 times derivative with respect to y, and if you add those two, if you get 0, then we will say that the given function u of xy is called harmonic function. Okay. So this way you have to find, when the function is given, you have to check this way whether it is harmonic or not. Okay. So this is about the first problem. So now we look at the second problem. So prove that, so u equals to 1 by 2 logarithm of x square plus y square is harmonic and hence find its harmonic conjugate. Okay, so here we have to check first whether it is a harmonic or not, and one more thing you have to check is harmonic conjugate. Okay, so look at the first part. First we are proving whether it is a harmonic or not. Okay, so for finding harmonic or not, what you have to do is we are checking for the Laplace equation. So that means uxx plus uyy we have to find first. So if u is given, what is a uxx? Ux is x by x square plus y square. Why? Because so if u is 1 by 2 logarithm of x square plus y square, okay, so when it is x square plus y square, what is a ux is 1 by 2 into what is the logarithm of x derivative is 1 by x, that means 1 by x square plus y square into, again you have to take x square plus y square derivative with respect to x, that means it is 2x. So therefore if you 2 if you get cancelled, what is the remaining thing is x by x square plus y square. So this gives the ux. So this is a first derivative of u with respect to x. So again what you have to do is, again you have to go for one more derivative. Why? Because Laplace equation contains 2 times derivative. So therefore uxx gives the this one. So if you find one more time, what you will get is uxx equals to, so y square minus x square by x square plus y square whole square. Okay, so here what you have to do is you have to apply derivative of u by v formula. So I have, in the previous slide itself I have written what is the derivative of u by v. So vu dash minus uv dash by v square. So therefore you have to find uxx. So therefore this is a uxx. Similarly we can find uyy. So this is a uyy. So now what you have to do is, finally you just add those two. So uxx plus uyy. So what is the denominator is? Suppose if you add those two, so uxx plus uyy equals to, so what is the denominator in the first quantity is y square minus x square plus x square minus y square divided by x square plus y square whole square. Okay, so what you will get it is, so this is going to be 0. Why? Because have minus x square plus x square will get cancelled and plus y square minus y square will get cancelled. So we will get 0. Okay. So once uxx plus uyy equal to 0, then we can say that the given function u is harmonic function. Okay. So this way you have to check whether the given function is harmonic or not. Okay. So now what is the next part is, and find its harmonic conjugate. So that is the second part of the problem. So first part is harmonic, already we proved this. So second part is find its harmonic conjugate. So for this what you are going to do is to find the harmonic conjugate of u. So that means everybody remember what you have to find indirectly. So if u is given, okay, so what you have to find is v you have to find. So that if you add u plus iv, so you will get the f of z. So that is our target. Okay. So now if you want to find f of z, then you have to add those two, otherwise you can leave like this. Okay. Suppose if you want to find f of z, so u is given, you have to find v, then if you add u plus iv, then you will get the f of z. Okay. So otherwise just you find v and then you can leave it. So this gives the harmonic conjugate. So if u is given, what you have to do is you have to find v. So this gives the harmonic conjugate of u. Okay. So since here it is not asked f of z, so therefore, so this no need to find. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to find only v only. Okay. So therefore u is given, how to find v. Okay. So now look at this. For this what you are going to do is, we are starting with a known derivative, we call it as total derivative of v. So in the first year already you learned this. If v is given, how to find the total derivative. So this is called total derivative of v formula. So dv equals to del v by del x into dx plus del v by del y into dy. Okay. So everybody remember. So this is a total derivative of a given function u or v. If you, so here just remember one more thing. If u is given, you have to find v. So therefore we have written total derivative of v here. Suppose if v is given, how to find u is, you have to find the total derivative of u formula. Okay. So that way you have to find. So since here u is given, so therefore I want v value. So if I want v value, so therefore we are going to find a total derivative of v. So this is the total derivative of v formula. So dv equals to del v by del x into dx plus del v by del y into dy. So now next what we are going to do is, we are using CR equations here. What is the CR equations are? So everybody familiar with this? So this is a very important concept. So CR equations is, so ux equals to vy. So ux equals to vy. So this is ux equals to vy and uy equals to minus vx. So therefore, just remember what we have is total derivative dv equals to del v by del x into dx plus del v by del y into dy. Okay. So indirectly what we are going to write is, this is vx dx plus vy dy. Now can anybody tell me what are the CR equations? So CR equations are this. So ux equals to vy and uy equals to minus vx. Okay. So now we are, since what we are going to do is, we are replacing these two quantities here. This is equals to, what is the vx here? So vx equals to minus uy dx plus, what is a vy? So according to CR equations, vy equals to ux. So therefore it is ux dy. So therefore finally we will get, so dv equals to, so this is a dv equals to minus uy dx plus ux dy. Okay. So this is a why, because we have to use CR equations is, since we don't know what is vx, what is vy, we have to find those v value. So therefore we are going to convert into our known quantity. So why? Because we know already what is ux and what is uy, already we know these two. So therefore what we are going to do is, using CR equations we are converted into our known values. So here we know already ux, it is there. So we know already uy, so it is also there. So therefore we are going to convert using CR equations, minus uy dx plus ux dy. So what we are going to do is, now substitute those two values here. So we know already ux, what is this? X by x square plus y square. We know already what is uy. So uy is y by x square plus y square. Okay. So once you substitute all those two values, so you will get this one. So dv equals to, so this is minus y by x square plus y square dx. This is uy and this is ux, x by x square plus y square dy. So here we remember, very important concept is, so how to simplify the whole quantity here. Everybody, so since we have dv here, so if you want to find v value, the whole right hand thing we have to convert it into derivative of something. So that is your target, because since left hand side it is derivative of v. So if you right hand side also, if you are convert derivative of something, so that we will get v value. Okay, so that is our target. So therefore, if you look at this, the right hand side, the whole quantity can be written as derivative of tan inverse y by x. Okay, so this you have to a little bit you have to do some work, so that we will get what is the derivative of u. So here you have to go for trial and error method. So what the derivative it will give for the previous quantity. Okay, so now once you convert right hand side, the whole thing is derivative of something. So therefore you just, this is a derivative of tan inverse y by x. So if you get it, cancel both sides, what you will get is, so v equals to the tan inverse y by x. So this is a v. So therefore we have find already, if u is given, so u is given, so we have find v value. Okay, so what is a v is this one. Okay, so this is called harmonic conjugate of u. Okay, so if u is given, v is tan inverse y by x, so this we call it as harmonic conjugate of u. Okay, so this way you have to find, using total derivative you have to find the harmonic conjugate. Okay, so here u is given, we have find v. Similarly, if v is given, how to find, if v is given, how to find u value. So that is the next method. Okay, so sometimes u is given, you have to find v value. So sometimes what they will do is, they will give you v value, you have to find u value. So for that what you are going to do is, you have to use total derivative of u. Okay, so why? Because since we need to find u value, so what is the total derivative of u? So du equals to del u by del x into dx plus del u by del y into dy. Okay, so this way you have to find u. So if v is given, you have to find u. So already we know how to find, so now here you have to use CR equation. So what is ux value? Ux equals to vy dx plus, so vy, so ux equals to vy and uy equals to minus vx. So therefore here you have to write minus vx dy. So you substitute vx, vy value, then simplify. So the whole quantity you have to write derivative of something, so that you will get u value. Okay, so this way you have to find. So if u is given, you have to find v value using total derivative concept. So this first process is total derivative concept. Okay, so everybody remember, finding harmonic conjugate is two ways. The first way is using total derivative we are going to find. If u is given, you have to use v total derivative formula. If v is given, you have to use u total derivative formula, so that you will get u value. Okay, so therefore this is a first process. Okay, so now just look at the sum of the exercise problems which I have given here. Okay, so everybody listen. So these are the some exercise problems. You just try to do is, so show that the following functions are harmonic and hence find harmonic conjugate. Okay, so everybody remember, the first part is harmonic. You have to show that it is harmonic. So for that what you have to do is, so uxx plus uyy equal to 0. Okay, so this is first problem. So similarly here, since he has given in r theta. Okay, so in r theta, so I will give you some formula. So how to find harmonic conjugate of this. So similarly third problem and fourth problem. Okay, so this way you have to prove harmonic, and next concept is harmonic conjugate. So the similar way you have to give, so harmonic conjugate. So since u is given here, so v is given, you have to find u value here. So if here u is given, you have to find v here. Okay, so similarly here also u is given, you have to find what is a v value. Okay, so this way you just find. If you have any doubt, you can just contact me at any time. Okay, so first part is you have to prove that it is harmonic. Harmonic means it should satisfy Laplace equation. So this is a Laplace equation. Okay, so when u is, so if you want to find harmonic, so you have to prove that u satisfies Laplace equation. So next part is harmonic conjugate. Okay, so this way you have to prove how to find harmonic conjugate. And next one is, so just remember, procedure to construct analytic functions using Milne-Thomson method. Okay, so everybody remember, so for finding harmonic conjugate, so these are the two scientists given a separate method is called Milne-Thomson method. So these are the two scientists given a separate method to find harmonic conjugate. Okay, so everybody remember, up to now how to find harmonic conjugate is, so using total derivative formula. Okay, so up to now we have find in the previous slide how to construct, if u is given how to find v, and if v is given how to find u. So those things we constructed using total derivative concept. So now this is a concept is called Milne-Thomson method. So this is a separate process to find or to construct analytic functions. Okay, so using Milne-Thomson method. Okay, so harmonic conjugate how to find in the previous slide is, so if u is given, we have find v. Similarly, if v is given, okay, so how to find u, so that we call it as harmonic conjugate. And if you add those two, you will get analytic function. So f of z equals to u plus iv. Okay, so this way we have to find if f of z is u plus iv. So first you need to find v, then if you add those two, you will get the analytic function. But here in Milne-Thomson method, directly he has given a formula for finding f of z value itself. Okay, so everybody remember? So in the previous problem, you have to find u. If you want to construct a analytic function, so u is given, you have to find v, then finally you have to add u plus iv, then you will get an analytic function. Okay. So but here in Milne-Thomson method, he has given a formula for finding f of z itself, not u, not v. So directly we are going to find f of z here. So look at this. So we will start with first case. So what is the first case is, assume that the real part of f of z u plus iv is given. Okay. So here if you look at, so we are having f of z equals to, for finding f of z, this is called u plus iv. So if you want to find an analytic function f of z equals to u plus iv, so they will give you either u or either v. So in the first case, we are assuming that u is given. Okay, so first case is, this is first case. So next case we are discussing, if v is given, how to find u. So that is the next case. Sorry, not u, we are going to find whole f of z. Everybody remember here, assume that, so if real part of f of z is given, that means if u is given, how to find f of z, that we discuss in first case. If v is given, how to find f of z in the second case. Okay. So for this, what you have to do is, this is a procedure. Okay. So what is the procedure is, so first step is, you need to find ux, uy. That is the first step. Okay. So remember, second step is, you need to find ux of z0 and uy of z0. So this is your second step. And the third step is, so by using the Milne-Thomson formula, you need to find f of z value. So directly here, so this is the formula he has given to find f of z. Okay, so what is the formula is, f of z equals to integral ux z0 dz minus I into integral uy z0 dz. So if you observe here, what it is there, ux of z0 and uy of z0, then if you integrate, you will get f of z. Remember here? So by using Milne-Thomson method, we are going to construct an analytic function itself, not u, not v. So directly we are going to find f of z. So for that he has given this formula. So if you observe this formula, what we have is ux of z0 and uy of z0. So for that we are going to find ux of z0 and uy of z0 in the second step. So if you want to find ux of z0, uy of z0, first you need to find ux of xy and uy of xy. So how to find the second step from the first step is, in the place of x you need to substitute z, and in the place of y you need to substitute 0. If you observe these two steps, so how to find the second step is, so this is ux of z0, uy of z0. So in the place of x, in the first you need to find first step, in the place of x you have to substitute z, and in the place of y you need to substitute 0. Similarly, for finding uy of z0, so in the place of x you need to substitute z, and in the place of y you need to substitute 0. Okay. So from the first step we can find easily second step. If you know what is ux of xy, uy of xy, so in the place of x z, in the place of y 0, so then you will get the second step. So once you know ux of z0 and uy of z0, so clearly if you substitute here, so and then if you integrate, so you will get the f of z. So that gives the analytic function by using Milne-Thomson method. Okay, so remember here, so we have two cases we discussed. So for constructing analytic function f of z equals to u plus iv, so here there are two cases. So if u is given, how to find f of z, that is the first case, if u is given. Similarly, if v is given, how to find f of z, so that is the second case. Okay, so these are the two cases very important. Everybody remember, in the question itself, if they are asking construct analytic function by using Milne-Thomson method, means you have to apply this one. Or there is another method for finding analytic function or for constructing analytic function. So that is using total derivative. So but if in the question itself, if they mention using Milne-Thomson method, means you have to use this procedure only. Okay, so there is no other way. Okay, so you remember these are the three steps. This is a step 1, this is a step 2, and this is a third step. Okay, so in the step 1, u is given, they will give you u value. In the first step, you have to find ux, uy. Okay, so in the third step, what you have to do is in the place of x, you substitute z, and in the place of y, you substitute 0. Then you will get the ux of z0, uy of z0. And in the third step, you have to remember this formula always. So there is no other way. So this is the formula given for finding f of z by Milley-Thompson method is this one. So once you have ux of z0, uy of z0, you just substitute here, and then if you integrate, then you will get what is, this gives the f of z, and this is called analytic function. So this, okay, so why? Because we need to construct analytic function. So this function is analytic. Okay, so this way you have to prove. So in the case 1, so similarly we can discuss the second case. So what is the second case is, I have told you already. So imaginary part of f of z is given. So imaginary part, I have told you already. So if for finding f of z, so f of z contains two parts, u plus iv. So in the first case we discussed, if u is given, how to find f of z. So this is the second case, v is given. So v means imaginary part is given. So therefore this is the second case. So if v is given, how to find f of z. So let's assume that imaginary part of f of z is given. That means v is given. So again the same procedure. For first you have to find vx, vy at xy, and in the second step you just replace in the place of x z, y 0. So then you will get vx of z0 and vy of z0. Okay, and in the third step, this is a Milley-Thompson formula for finding f of z. So if v is given, this is formula. Okay, so what is the formula is integral vy of z0 dz plus I into integral vx of z0 dz. So vx of z0 already we have here, you just substitute here. So vy of z0 we have already here, so you just substitute here. Then if you integrate, then you will get the f of z. This f of z gives the analytic function. Okay, so therefore, so this way you have to find the analytic functions, or this way you have to construct the analytic function. So if either real part is given or imaginary part is given. So if if the real part is given, then you have to go for first case. If imaginary part of f of z is given, then you have to proceed with the second case. Okay, so if you remember these, only you have to remember these three steps. This is the first step, and the second one, and this is the third one. So you have to remember those 3 steps only. So if you remember those 3, so then we can easily construct how analytic functions from, so u is given or v is given. Okay, so this way you have to construct the given functions. Okay, so now we will discuss examples in the next class. Okay, so thank you.